Hello, good afternoon. It is 3:30 and that means it is another Kingston Library book review. I'd really like to apologise for the quality of my filming. I have had to jerry-rig my phone for this, and by jerry-rig I mean I have balanced it on top of a sloth Easter egg. So sorry about that in advance. Hope you're all really well. Hope you're keeping safe at home. I hope you have plenty of chocolate yourselves, whether or not it is sloth-shaped. And I hope you have been enjoying this series of book reviews that we have been putting out every day. So today, the book I am going to be reviewing is accessible as an e-audio book. You can find it on Libby. It's a slightly older book, so it may be something some of you have read before. If not, I really hope you look at it. I really hope you enjoy it if you do, and I look forward to seeing and reading your comments. So today's book review is John le Carré's The Spy That Came In From the Cold. This is one of my all-time favourite books. I'm a big fan of John le Carré, and I'm going to start with just a very brief history of the man himself. I'm sure most of you know, we're aware of him, but if not, a little bit of background information. John le Carré is the pen name of David Cornwell. He has been writing since the 1960s. He mostly does thriller novels, almost exclusively espionage novels. This is his third book. He wrote it in 1963, and he wrote it in the space of 6 weeks. He did it all in longhand. And at the time, he was based in the West German capital of Bonn, where he was working for MI6. I feel this gives you sort of a background of where he was, and it sort of does reflect quite a lot on the book at hand. So The Spy That Came In From the Cold is the third book in the George Smiley series, but please don't let that put you off. He is not the titular character. It just falls into the run of books that he does feature in. Our lead is Alec Lemus. He is a washed-out drunk spy. He is being called back by Control to do one last mission before he goes completely to seed. His career has completely hit the rails. He was working out of East Berlin, running a network, and our book starts with him waiting for his last network member to arrive at the barracks to pass over some crucial information. The book is a Cold War novel, so it's very politicised and very political, and it speaks about communism and the West and the relationships, but also it speaks a lot about loyalty and also what we will sacrifice for an idea, or what others are willing to sacrifice and see as expendable. It also looks at the similarities and the kinship between two very disparate nations, in this case East Germany and the Russian Communist parties, and Britain and sort of the allied Western society. The novel, I think, is utterly beautiful. It really does pin to the heart of some of those matters, and it really does make you inflect about people's opinions and what they are willing to do in certain situations. Lemus, according to le Carré, first took seed when he was in a bar in an airport. He saw a man come in, reach into his pocket, throw down a handful of different foreign coins and pick out the correct ones before asking for a large whiskey with no ice. And that was sort of the root of this very rough cynic of Lemus, who is a character I think it's near impossible not to love him as you follow him through the book, or at least I certainly feel quite heavily for him. The novel is a tragedy in many ways, and it, I think, really does delve into quite difficult concepts of differences in politics and differences in sort of institutions. And it's also, at its heart, got a love story between the wonderful character of Liss Gold and her relationship with Liss as things go on. She's a young Jewish communist, and she's very idealistic, very optimistic. And she serves as a real contrast for Liss, who is, as I say, at this point, completely out the game. He's got one mission left and he's losing everything that he's ever known. His life has been espionage, and now that is coming to a very abrupt end. I don't want to go too much into it because I really don't want to give away any of the main twists. This is a novel that I remember sitting down to read and gasping at one point. I really feel it's a must read. It's a very accessible book as well. If you are somebody who has tried, say, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which is an exceptional novel, but not the easiest to get to grips with at times. It is quite a complicated story. Then The Spy That Came In From the Cold is very, very different. It's a much more linear narrative. It is very much focused on one character and his interactions with others, rather than splitting off and telling different stories that sort of melt together. I really, really do hope you enjoy it. I apologise again for the sloth-based Easter egginess of the video reviewing content. Hope you all stay well, hope you all stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow for another review. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.